my kings and queens, welcome back once again to another episode of what we have going on here on this table of life of an African woman. And in case you just stumbled here, hey darling, welcome back and thank you for tuning in. You did not stumble here by accident, and most importantly, know that you are at the right stop where we share love, peace, unity and oneness by saying things just the way it is, raw and undiluted, not to demean anyone, any citizen, any country, but to expose, analyze, react, educate, entertain, inspire, captivate, not just you but your spirit, your soul and your body. And I promise you can get it as a dull moment, so why not destroy that subscription button for me? You see the energy, it's lit and we don't need to step it out, right? Thank you so much for your constant love and support. And guys, straight up for what we have for today, it is no longer news that we as Africans, if we want to go back to the history, we want to go back to our roots, we should understand that there are key players, smart, intelligent, brave and courageous players who they stood out back then in the period of our colonial masters, apartheid, pure before independence, until we found ourselves where we are. Yes, there were people who stood at the front line, not one, not two, so many. But if we say we want to sit down here and begin to bring them out, there are numerous to mention. You can as well leave your favorite. But for today, I bring to you good tidings from the motherland Ghana and from my one and only South Africa. Two key persons that history has it that played alongside with others, disclaimer, huge, massive, important, brave roles when it comes to what the freedom, independence of our various countries. If you come to Ghana, you will see that we have the one and only Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana. Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana did not just seek for the freedom of Ghana alone, but also from history and research, made so many, supported, helped, aided so many countries to gain her independence. And even my country as a Nigerian was not left out from history, right? And today, 3 years after Ghana gained her independence in the year 1957, 3 years later, in the year 1960, Nigeria gained her independence. And it also actually opened the eyes of every other country to fight for their own freedom. And guys, we cannot just let these people slide. And today, I just wanted us to have an acknowledgement, a refreshment of what these people has done, because without Osaje Kwame Nkrumah, the country Ghana and so many other countries will not be where it is. We might not really go in bits in details, but as a historian, if you want to know more, go do more research, you will know that their faces are the topmost faces in the continent of Africa that actually did play the role of independence, freedom fighting, the liberation and steps and ground for democracy that we are experiencing. Even though in Nigeria, we don't understand what we are practicing, whether it is democracy or whatever. But in a blueprint, I just wanted us to take a moment of when this man and his team actually gained her freedom, her independence. Let's see the joy, the excitement, the speech that came out from him. Let's hear.
There is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing the whole affairs. And my last warning to you is that you ought to stand firm behind us so that we can prove to the world that when the African is given a chance, he can show to the world that he's somebody. We are waking. We shall no more go back to sleep anymore. We are going to demonstrate to the world, to the other nations, young as we are, that we are prepared to lay our own foundation. As I said in the assembly just minutes ago, I made a point that we are going to say that we create our own African personality and identity. It's the only way in which we can show the world that we are ready for our own battle. But today, may I call upon you all that at this great day, let us all remember that nothing in the world can be done unless it has the purpose and support of God. We have done the battle, and we again rededicate ourselves not only in the struggle to emancipate other territories in Africa. Our independence is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent. And here, I will ask the band to play the Ghana national anthem. Freedom! Freedom! Freedom!
Did you like?
Wow. A round of applause. This is amazing. And guys, I am just here thinking aloud and asking or wondering, how was it then? Like, how was it? Only God knows. And I know that there are so many people who might still be alive who experienced this. And yes, if you have anyone or know anyone who was there present and is still alive, it's a privilege, a blessing, and an honor to actually experience this and be alive today. Yes, let's know in the comment section. And yes, when you want to take it again to the mother of Africa, we had one person, may his soul and the soul of Sir Dr. Sajay Nkrumah of Ghana rest in peace, which is no other than the country South Africa of the personality of great hero Nelson Mandela. Guys, this man went through the valley of the shadow of death as much as Kwame Nkrumah did, right? You see, these two people are my top favorite. I can't forget them in the history of Africa, right? And that's why today I dedicate this day and this channel for them, to respect them, to acknowledge them, to honor them, and to speak of them, so that at least we refresh our mind and memory down to history and memory lane. Yes, like I said, Nelson Mandela even fought to the point that he spent years upon years in prison just for the freedom, independence of the country South Africa. Today, South Africa is what it is because of this man. Today, South Africa is enjoying their benefits, even though they are not where they want to be, but in the pathway, it's because of this man and his team. Of course, he will definitely have supporters as much as haters, right? Opponents, as the case may be. But because of this one man, Nelson Mandela, guys, the continent of Africa is where it is today, right? And guys, let's take a look at the moment when he gave his speech, and we will be right back.
A fantastic reception for Nelson Mandela, the president of the ANC.
That's tremendous. Master of Ceremonies, distinguished artists, members of the International Reception Committee, dear friends here and elsewhere in the world, our first simple and happy task is to say thank you. Thank you very much to you all. Thank you that you chose to care.
Wow, this is heart melting, heartwarming, like see goosebumps all over my body, because guys, the crowd that these people pulled at the point, the venue where their proclamation for freedom and independence was made, is out of this world. It's mind-blowing. And you see, the reason why I really needed to talk about this is because when you look at what had happened, the role these people played, all they did to get the countries in Africa, particularly the countries we have as South Africa, Ghana, and even Nigeria, you will see that today in the world, it is just few countries that are trying to sustain this energy, sustain this path, sustain all that these people have put in place for us in the name of freedom and independence. Because as a matter of fact, the most important thing that every individual should seek and fight for is your freedom to speech, to move around, exercise your fundamental human right as a human being, as an individual. And when you are being deprived of that, you would definitely see yourself living as a living dead. Exactly, not mixing words. But the moment that the countries we have in Africa were liberated from the hands of the colonials and definitely got their freedom and went from being colonized, being under apartheid, to democracy, is the moment that everyone would always want and appreciate. And to say the least, what these people had gone through to bring us to where we are at today, as people, as country, is something to reckon with, is a thing to acknowledge. It is laudable and commendable. And that is why I sit here today to say that may their soul and the souls of all the faithful departed who had fought the good fight of faith in the map and in the continent of Africa continue to rest in peace. To Nelson Mandela, to definitely Sir Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and every other freedom fighter, dead and alive, may their soul continue to rest in peace. Amen. And yes, guys, we are the next in line. This generation we have today, especially the generation of the 80s, of the 70s, 80s, and let me say 90s or late 90s, are the hope of the continent of Africa. But what exactly is happening in our various countries today is definitely different strokes for different folks, because there are a lot of challenges, there are a lot of hitches, there are a lot of obstacles, setbacks in form of different things that is dragging us behind, that is pulling us back. But we should remember one thing and one thing only, that we are the freedom fighters of our own generation, and it is the footstep, the blueprint, based on our actions and inactions, based on our ability to stand out and speak up and act right, that will definitely give rooms and grounds for the generations unborn to come and say, yes, when we will be no more, there were people like us that actually did live and pass through the surface of this earth, and that is what we will be remembered for. Do not even mind what our leaders are doing today, because at the end of the day, all man to his own. All our leaders are doing today from our various countries will be definitely accounted for and paid for dearly. You look at what is happening in the system and in the country, Nigeria, you will weep and shed tears, because at the end of the day, this is what will make you ask, was this the reason why these great men fought for the freedom and independence for these criminals, looters, to come to deprive even innocent citizens of the opportunities, of the privileges that this freedom and independence was supposed to offer to each and every one of us? But for today, what do we see? the reverse is the case. Now you will say, or you might want to ask, what is the hope for the common man and which way forward? Now, while we are deliberating on that, do not forget that you owe yourself as an individual, as a citizen from any country, your own role to play with the fundamental human right given to you. And that's why I always hold it keen on the necks of most citizens of my country, Nigeria, when I see them going out doing things that do not even sit well, that are damaging and destructive, detrimental to the name, the country Nigeria, that is even rubbing off on other African countries and painting the continent of Africa in a bad light in this 21st century, when we are supposed to be top ranked in the globe as best continent, the best producers, the best in every single thing we do, which we are originally gifted in. No cap, I'm blessed with. But today we see corruption, we see so many factors eating us deep and destroying us. And remember, like I said, everybody will account for every action and inactions that they actually represent as citizens, as individuals of different countries. But for today, we owe this stage to the great heroes that once lived and passed through the surface of this earth. As for Ghana, Sir Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and his likes of freedom fighters, and for South Africa, Nelson Mandela. We have the likes of Nnamdi Azikiwe, name them, Tafawa Balewa, and the rest of them, who did play one role or the other positively to actually aid Nigeria to where it is today. The good ones, the great ones who actually did fought the fight of freedom alongside with these aforementioned names, may their soul rest in peace. But for what we have today, I don't think they are freedom fighters. They are wolves in sheep clothing, destroying and pulling down the country Nigeria. But I say one prayer to them that they will definitely meet their end in less than no time. And let us play our own individual roles to making sure that if the baton gets to our hand, we will leave it and use it wisely and live right. So help us God. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on here on the Stable of Life of an African Woman, where we say things just the way it is, without sentiment, emotions, and bias. This is what I brought to us on this channel, so that we can have a retrospect, a throwback down to history and memory lane. And to every South African, Ghanaian, Nigerian, citizens of any country, I want to say, may you always remember your roots and raise your flag high any day, anytime, anywhere, because that is your identity. Exactly. So keeping it real, happy, safe, and blessed. And I want to say at this point, at this juncture, if you did watch up to now, you are the best. Please make it a date with me in my next episode. And if you are yet to like, kindly destroy. I said destroy the like button, share, and subscribe if you find this place quite interesting, because on here, it is premium quality value for your time, your money, your everything, right? And yes, keeping it real, happy, safe, and blessed wherever you are watching me on your screen. Until I will see you in my next episode. But for now, do have a blessed, a lovely, a peaceful, and a successful day out there. Ciao, ciao.